Nicholasville begins to say goodbye to one of their officers who died last week.
Winds are coming out of the south and southwest. That's pumping in some really mild air. Expected just to flow into our region later on today, but it goes back and forth with that weather. And I'll explain that forecast coming up.
And with many Pats fans' travel plans already in the works before that bracket was finalized, tickets are now hard to come by for members of the Big Blue Nation.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
And good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Barbara Bailey.
And I'm Bill Bryant. Here's what's happening at noon. Friends, family, and fellow officers are saying their final respects and goodbyes today to a police officer killed in the line of duty. Nicholasville officer Burke Rhodes was headed to training last week when he died in a crash on US 27 in Garrett County.
His visitation started this morning at Southland Christian Church. WKYT's Victor Puente is in Jessamine County now with more on the outpouring of support for Officer Rhodes and his family. It's our top story at noon. Victor.
Hundreds of law enforcement vehicles have filled the parking lot behind me. They've come from across the state to pay their respects to a fallen officer. The visitation for Nicholasville police officer Burke Rhodes started at 10 this morning, lasts until 1 o'clock. We've already seen hundreds of people, many of them in uniform, enter the doors here at Southland Christian Church. Officer Rhodes was killed Wednesday in a crash on US 27 near the Garrett-Jessamine line. He was on his way to Richmond for training. He was 35. Since his death, tributes to Rhodes have been spreading across Nicholasville. Some were as obvious as billboards or signs. Others were more subtle, with blue lights at the walkways of churches and even the checkout counters at Lowe's. There'll be a second visitation from 3 until 8. His funeral is tomorrow at noon. After that, he'll be buried at Camp Nelson National Cemetery. In Jessamine County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. 2 other vehicles were in that crash. 4 other people were hurt, but none of their injuries was life-threatening. A man wanted for shooting a 9-year-old child in Lexington will face a judge in West Virginia today. Federal agents arrested Alberto Contreras last week near Charleston. Police say he shot into a car earlier this month on Russell Cave Road near Hollow Creek, hitting the boy in the neck. Contreras will be in court for an extradition hearing.
An investigation is underway this afternoon after flyers were found in a Lexington neighborhood today. The flyers were discovered on cars, indoors, and in the mailboxes of homes on Niles Drive. That's near Appian Way and Armstrong Mill. As WKYT's Mark Barber reports now, police are trying to figure out if these flyers are a form of harassment or just free speech.
Is this a case of freedom of speech or harassment? That's the question police are working to answer after religious flyers were taped to cars and doors in this neighborhood off of Armstrong Mill Road overnight. The message talks about heaven and hell, but it isn't from the Bible. The flyer reads in part, quote, "But for the disobedient and ungodly, when they die, they shall suffer hell for 3 days, and each day shall be like 1,000 years of weeping and gnashing of teeth," end quote. The message goes on to say, quote, "You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you are found wanting," end quote. Investigators say they are still trying to figure out who left the flyers.
It's more, hell and damnation type deal. That is not a way to convince people to do it. To me, it's not a way, how about love and compassion?
Pastor Patricia Kennedy says she also found a flyer posted on her home.
You have to show love. First, show love. And this, if they came and they showed a smile or just give us something that is more tangible than just a sheet of paper just saying what you want to do. Into the middle of the night, it is offensive.
Pastor Kennedy says she believes there is a heaven and a hell. However, she says how she shares those beliefs is sometimes just as important as the message itself. That's why she says she finds the flyers left here in the night so offensive. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And police tell us that this will become a harassment case if specific threats were made. We're told they are still looking into all of the circumstances. Currently in the Commonwealth, there is no standard of care when it comes to drug testing newborns. The Cabinet for Health and Family Services says there are no laws or hospital requirements in Kentucky for screening infants for drugs. A neonatologist out at Cosair Children's Hospital in Louisville says the lack of a statewide testing standard for newborns dependent on drugs is causing babies to slip through the system.
It's kind of a problem that's exploded faster than people have had a chance to get ahead of it. And that's why we're trying to clean up the mess now.
Tonight on WKYT News at 6, find out what the Kentucky Perinatal Association is working on to stream and try to get additional state guidelines in place.
Well, it's an absolutely beautiful day in the Bluegrass with sunny skies and spring-like temperatures close to 70 degrees. But rain chances will increase as we head through the work week. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live now in our First Alert Weather Center with all the details. What a dandy forecast.
Oh, man, that's a good way to put it. I mean, outside we're already in the mid-60s for a lot of locations. Once we hit the next 5 hours, which that's what we have left of heating, and once we hit those, we'll be in the 70s for all. 67 in northern Kentucky at this moment. 65 there in Lexington. You look across the way, it's a beautiful day. A lot of sunny skies, a few upper-level cirrus clouds. That doesn't do anything but paint a good picture. They'll be at 72. Feels amazing. That's the only way to put it. This will be your warmest day by far. And so far this year, fantastic weather there as you head off into the evening hours. How long do we hold on to this? Yeah, I'll have that answer coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit, and we thank you.
Well, it is a great day to be a Big Blue fan. The Kentucky Wildcats claim the overall #1 seed in the NCAA tournament after extending their record to 34-0 with a big win over Arkansas in the SEC championship game.
And now it's off to the big dance, and the Cats don't have to go far for the first round of the tournament. They'll be right down the road in Louisville, but getting a ticket will take either a lot of luck or a lot of money. Our Hillary Thornton reports now the Better Business Bureau is already issuing a warning about ticket scams.
Well, it is what most people expected to happen, but it became official last night with the Kentucky Wildcats being named the #1 overall seed for this year's tournament. And with many Cats fans' travel plans already in the works before that bracket was finalized, tickets are now hard to come by for members of the Big Blue Nation.
Go Big Blue!
Kentucky fans are known for their loyalty and traveling as a strong force.
Partially a culture thing, you know. If you grew up here, even people that move here, like, wow, everyone here is so behind the Cats. It's unlike any other college sports fan base that you've ever seen.
Because of that, tickets, including UK's allotment, are already sold out for what fans hope is the Cats' first stop in their quest for title #9. If you are a UK student, you do have a chance for tickets through the student lottery set to be held today.
So well, and they're undefeated. You know, this is really the chance, something you can tell your kids about when you're older.
A chance to witness history firsthand is why fans are willing to pay a hefty price. Tickets on the NCAA exchange are already well into the hundreds. Many fans will also turn to other websites hoping to luck into a ticket. The Better Business Bureau is warning fans to be extra cautious, especially when dealing with sites like eBay and Craigslist.
Especially if the tickets look like they are too good to be true seats at really low prices and you're given a strange reason why these people have to let the tickets go for a song. There's usually a reason behind that. They want to steal your money.
Now the doors open at Memorial Coliseum at 4 o'clock for that student lottery. Numbers will be drawn for a chance to buy from a total of about 100 tickets. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
All right, Hillary, thank you. And for tips from the Better Business Bureau, visit our website, WKYT.com, and we'll link you there. Well, and for folks trying to show their team spirit during the NCAA tournament, even while texting, the Washington Post has made that a little easier. There are now special March Madness emojis there that are for your smartphone. To get a Wildcat emoji, just tap on the icon and copy it to your text, and it'll be ready to go.
Oh, I want it. That's great.
Well, you can get one.
All right.
And you know it's going to be very, very busy over in Louisville. Not only is the city hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament, as we were talking about, they're also hosting some royal visitors.
Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, are coming to Kentucky this Friday. Camilla will spend some time at a nonprofit organization that helps families in need. And the day will end with a reception at Churchill Downs for an animal welfare organization. The couple made their first visit to the U.S. together in 2005.
Well, negotiations continue between the U.S. and Iran over its nuclear program.
We'll have an update on their progress next on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead on WKYT, legendary singer Elton John is calling for a boycott of a designing duo. Find out why coming up on WKYT News at noon.